This video is made for adult collectors because I'm almost finished the UCS Jango Fett's, what do they call this thing? Fire spray ship? Slave 1? Starship? Whatever, you know, that thing, the blue one. Every time I talk about these toys or I bring up Wild King to someone, I always think of Wild Things, the song by the Trogs, and it's now been stuck in my head for the last, like, 2 weeks. It's really annoying, I want it out. Wild King, the Takara Kids show on YouTube right now, actually. Go watch it. It's kind of neat. But Wild King is a Takara only toy line that's not coming here because we have Cyberworld. And I've seen a lot of people go, oh, this is better than Cyberworld, which, yes, but there's a big hiccup in that. Wild King launched with 6 toys, 2 big guys and 4 little animal dudes. I unfortunately missed out on the last 2 of the animal dudes because they sold out on Amazon Japan. Actually, I haven't checked Hobby Genki yet. I should probably do that. This is Wild King Optimus, Megatron, Lightlong, and Captain Volca. Also, quickly, just before I get into the video, I want to apologize for the last video I did, the RIDO1 Megatron, because I was sick during that, so I kind of sounded a bit miserable in some areas, so apologies. But these 4 toys are real interesting. You can buy them separately or in 2 packs, and I really like these. I guess we'll start with Prime. He's just a massive version of the core class, but he looks cool. The reds and blues they picked are pretty toyetic, and the blue hands match the blue legs quite well because the hands are painted, but like I'm surprised they match that well. Head sculpt is real nice. I dig these proportions and the way the mask is done. I also like the big Cybertron-esque shoulder pads. This Prime came with Lightlong, this giraffe guy who honestly looks and feels great. Only thing I don't like is that the legs stick out past the hands, but the rest of it looks good. These colors match pretty well. Both of them come with an axe, and Lightlong comes with his energy crystal, but in building the new UCS Slave 1, I've kind of lost Prime's axe. I don't know where it's gone. Both of their articulation is okay, but I will talk about that more later. But the thing I want to get to the most is Megatron. And Captain Volca, but like Megatron. Megatron is fantastic. He looks superb with the gray, silver, black, and red, and the details here feel more like they work than on Prime. Not saying Prime's bad at all, it's just Megatron looks better. He comes with his fusion cannon, which does kind of sit a little low on the arm, but that's more for tank mode. Captain Volca is neat, essentially the same skeleton as Lightlong, but with new kibble bits. I like how they do the kibble here, where you can have like the tail sticking up or folded down if you want. He doesn't come with any weapons, but he does have his energy crystal. Back to Megatron though, he can articulate, which was a surprise. Prime and Megatron don't have thigh swivels, but the way Megatron's limbs work and how he looks, he can actually do some neat stuff for a kid's toy that the Optimus can't really do. So these 2 idiots' articulation is actually quite similar to each other. However, Megatron actually has a little bit more going on than Prime. So with Optimus here, you've got the head, which is on a ball joint, so it can rotate left, it can rotate right. They can both look up quite a bit, which is really nice. They can't look down. You have shoulders that do a full 360. They can go in and out. You have a backwards butterfly joint because of transformation, 90-degree elbow bend, bicep rotation, an upper waist joint. Hips can go forward. They're really stiff. This butt flap moves out of the way so that they can move back that far. They can go out that far. No thigh rotation. Again, I really wish they had thigh rotation. They have 90-degree bends at the knee and then nothing at the ankles. Now, Megatron has all of that, except he has a wrist swivel as well for transformation, but you know, I like that. And then his legs swivel this way, but only this way, and it's below the knee. But they don't go this way, and it's because of this right here. If you somehow sanded that down to be curved, you could probably get it to rotate both ways. But like, it doesn't really accomplish much in articulation anyways, so like, who cares? But Megatron can also look a tiny bit more up than Optimus can. However, the biggest issue with these is they are combiners, right? They do the whole combining thing, which we will get to later. However, these arms, right? They only bend 90 degrees. This one likes to come off quite a bit because it gets really tight when I bend it this way, and so the pegs just aren't strong enough, and Megatron is kind of similar. This one. They each have an arm that just likes to come off if I bend it all the way and then pull down. For Megatron, it's the left. For Optimus, it's the right. It's a little annoying, but it's not terrible. I just need to thicken these 5mm pegs up a little bit. But it does mean you can do that if you want to. So, hooray. Hooray for Skybound reference. I still need to catch up. I'm on issue 12. these two idiots, whoa, these two idiots are exactly the same. So we'll look at Captain Volca here because he looks cooler. So the head doesn't move. That is unfortunate. It does not rotate. And it's just because of where the hinge is located in the head. There's no space for one. So I get it, but I am still a little disappointed he can't rotate any of their heads. Shoulders, they can do a full 360. They are trigger happy shoulders, so they bump into the head. This can rotate around. You have bicep rotation, single jointed elbow, waist joint. Hips can go forward, they can go back, they can go in and out. Thigh rotation and full knee bend. Now both of these guys are exactly the same. So they're very articulated, minus the head and the limitations in the shoulders. But like, I'd be okay with the shoulder limitations if the head rotated, because then I'd say they're fine. But yeah, they're just held back by their heads. So all of these do transform into multiple different things. So let's get into that, shall we? So I guess we'll start with Optimus because, you know, it's just the core class. So we're gonna clip the legs together. Now, one thing to note, he comes with these little like armor pieces that can go wherever, right? They go on any part of the figure so you can make it look cool. But that means that when they're somewhere else, come on legs, he has no heels. So doesn't take a lot of effort to make him fall over unless these are plugged into the back. So that's where I keep them. But we're gonna take the armor pieces off. We're gonna clip them together, the legs. We're gonna put the armor pieces up here, because they're technically supposed to be up here, but you know what? I don't like them there. We're gonna bend, oops, there goes that arm. We're gonna bend the arms up 90 degrees. We're going to then rotate the waist 180 degrees. You're gonna push the head in. Now when bringing it back out, it's really hard to clip into place. This tiny little tab right here clips over this spot. And it was really difficult at first, and I thought I was gonna break it, but no, it's just, I find pushing it from back here helps quite a bit. So we're gonna bring that down. Then we're going to bring these around and they're going to peg into the gray section at the back. And the arms are going to swing in and clip in at the front here. And then you bring this entire section up at the hips. And there you have Prime in his truck mode. Megatron. Megatron is really involved in the legs and I was very surprised by this. So to start with, we're gonna do the same head thing, which is a lot easier to clip in than on Prime. But we'll push the head down. And what we're going to do now is bring the arms, rotate the bicep swivels 90 degrees, rotate the wrists 180 degrees. Oop, his arm will fall off. And then you bring this section up and around and it will peg into place back here. Oops, make sure the arm is in the correct orientation. And then peg it together. And you've got the tank barrel pretty much done. Now this is where it becomes a little interesting. First of all, you have walking tank mode. You have Metal Gear / TRF thing. But you want to open this section up and fold this out. And then you want to take this entire thigh piece, or this shin piece, sorry, rotate it 90 degrees, bend it down, and bring this around like that. Then you bring this up, close this up, rotate this, and it will peg into the torso. And that's how you do the treads. It's so interesting in the way that the order of operations works, because you gotta like, boom, oops, don't pull it off. Don't do that. And then you just rotate that, bring that down, bring that up, close that up, rotate this forward, and clip it in. And there you have the tank mode. I really like the way that the legs work. It's super cool. These two, despite being the exact same skeleton, actually do transform differently. So we'll get to Light Long first. We're gonna remove his tail. We're gonna remove the energy crystal and the giraffe head. Parts forming, I know, but I don't care. So you peg the legs together like that. And then you bring the head back, fold this up, close that up, bring these sections back and they will tab together. Rotate the arms, rotate the waist 180 degrees, bend this down. There's your 4 legs. Then we're gonna take the giraffe head and we're going to make sure these 2 pegs are down because they're going to peg in right here at the top. So we got the head in place. You take the energy crystal, peg it into the front here, and the axe becomes his tail. Just gonna bend it down. And there you have Light Long in his giraffe mode. Now Captain Volca. He's cool because he's slightly different, which you rip that off, peg the legs together, take the head and the tail off, fold the robot head in, bring this section up, rotate the arms 90 degrees so that the T-Rex arms are facing forward, bend these down, rotate the waist, bring this section all the way in like that, and then bend the legs ever so slightly. Then you take the tail, and it's going to peg into the back of the legs here, and then you fold it up and it will actually sit straight even though the legs are at an angle, which I think is really cool. This piece goes back on top here. You don't actually have to remove this, but the instructions tell you to. Then you flip out the double pegs here and plug that in, and there you have him. Prime's truck mode is fine. The yellow really looks weird and the feet hanging out are kind of but it rolls great because it's got pinned wheels and everything tabs together super well. Nothing wants to come undone. Everything is solid and has a clicking point. Megatron is a tank with no wheels, but well. The turret can't rotate, but it can go up and down using the elbow joints. He's a bit of a stubby tank though, especially for the amount of steps he has. I was expecting it to like extend a bit more, but he also feels really solid. The animals are okay. Light Long, there we go, definitely looks more complete over Volca, but they're both still fun. God, I want that Spino so bad. The animals don't really articulate super well, but they aren't built for that, but they hold together very nicely. But the Power Rangers aspect of this, they do combine, and they do it in some weird Sentai ways. All right, I'm just gonna do the combining in all one big like thing. But before I do, I just want to point out that the combiner kibble can store on these guys. So you can store the little like head crown bits on them there, which is kind of neat. So I guess we'll start with these two before we get the big guys into their combined modes. So to start with, you're just going to make them into bricks. We're going to remove all the parts for me pieces from the figures. They're all 5mm, by the way, so you can take these little crystal things and I don't know, give it to Quake, and now Quake can hold it. Quake, who now has a loose leg for some reason. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the legs, fold that down, rotate this around, and then just close these up. They're going to tab into the gray section, and that's his rectangle done. But there you have their combined modes, and if you notice, they've got like molded in fists on the front. It's easier to see on this guy. There's molded in fists, which is really nice, but they're in combined mode. All of these bits do play a role. We'll get to that in a second. So we'll start with Optimus. What we're going to do is take this arm off. We're going to take this head section, put it here. I'm going to give him his heels because he will fall otherwise. Heel number 1 and heel number 2. Then we're going to take Light Long and we're going to plug him in right here. We're going to take this axe piece, plug it in right here. Open this section up, take the energy crystal, plug it into there, and then take this section, fold it so that the two pegs are up like that, and then you want to take this piece out from the back, plug that into the shoulder, and there you have Optimus and Light Long combined. So Megatron's sort of like the same thing, right? Robot mode, you fold this down. We're going to take this arm off, just because I want to be different. We're going to plug Captain Volca in. I'm going to take the dinosaur head and plug the dinosaur head into the bottom here. Oops, that will come right off. Plug that back in. Energy crystal goes on this side. Tail can go here. I like to leave it up like that. And there you have those two with their respective dudes combined. Now, what's neat is the arms. Optimus Prime here, you can take the arm, you open this back section up, and this does store right in there. And just peg this together. And there you go. The arm is actually stored on the figure. Megatron, however, can't do that. He does have the spot for it, and he does have the peg. But because the tread stores in here, it doesn't work, unfortunately. So his arm just sort of hangs off to the side. But you can do that. You can also, you know, rip this arm off and plug this into here. I also forgot to put Megatron's head crest on. His head crest doesn't plug in as nicely as Optimus Prime's, but you can take this, plug this into here, take this, and plug this into here. And now you have, boom, Megatron with two dudes attached to him. Now, they don't really do much in the way of like articulation, is what I thought originally, but you can utilize the hip joints and the waist joint as like an elbow and a bicep swivel. It is a little low, but you can swivel here and then bend this. So that's kind of neat. Both sides can do that. But these can also become legs. So basically you want both these guys in their normal robot modes, and what we're gonna do is, we'll start with Prime. So you take his legs and you rip them off, like that. I'm going to take this piece and just flip it to the back here. Take this piece, flip it to the back. Then you fold the toes down, and these are your feet. And so basically you're going to peg these into here and then peg this into here. That's one leg. He won't stand. We'll take the other leg, peg this into here. Oh, that's backwards. Peg this into here, and then peg it into here, and his hips are really stiff. And there you have the legs, which unfortunately I found that they're not the most stable connections in the world, and it's because these are two separate 5mm ports being pushed together. So like, there's something wrong with the spacing, and so you'll plug it in, and you'll be like, oh, cool, and then you'll start up, it'll just fall apart. And it's not just Prime. Megatron kind of does the exact same thing, which is unfortunate. So we'll pull the legs off, and then we're going to open this up, fold out the tread, and that's a foot. Fold this out, flip out the tread. Oh, see, Volca just fell off. It's a little unfortunate because I really like this gimmick. I think it's very cool, but it doesn't take much effort, and there's not enough grip. So yeah, I love these, and I want to get the full set. I will get them eventually, but back to the thing I mentioned earlier about the whole, oh, these are better than Cyberworld. Yeah, but the 2-packs for these are $70 Canadian retail. That's a lot of money. The giant talking Scorponok from Cyberworld that's coming out, I think, is a similar price. But yeah, these are cool, but so expensive to import. I do recommend them, and they are on sale on Amazon Japan right now. So you can get them for like 50 Canadian bucks, which is better, but it's still a lot of money. It's quite a lot of money for this stuff. But that's been my look at Wild King Megatron on Optimus. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.